Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Spiritually Speaking. I am very excited to introduce you to the beautiful Bessie. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to have you here, Bessie. I truly am. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Dee. I'm excited to be with you It's been a few months and finally we made it happen and then here we are. So I'm just really excited to be with you, share my work and my message and yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you so
yeah,
much. Well,
yeah.
as I was saying to you briefly in our pre-chat, I've noticed the evolution of your soul, your being, your work through the last several months through your Facebook post. So I would love it if you would share a little bit about yourself and how that evolution has come to be and what you've learned about yourself and the universe as a whole during that
Mm.
time.
Mm. Well, I feel like there's been definitely an evolution from the very beginning as a young child, really knowing that there is something more to my life than just this physical life. And being an empath and an intuitive, I was so sensitive to energy, to spirits. I would see things, hear things. And back then, it was a little scary.
Yes.
I was raised a Catholic, so go figure, right? That's another story, but I really was able to just go through my path to learn to know that there's just something more to this life and that we are definitely spiritual beings living this human life. And so just really going through my own path and evolution, um, I well, as a background here, let me just kind of like give a little bit of a background. I I knew that I wanted to help people, and I used to hear from friends and family, Bessie, you did that when you were younger with us, and I didn't, realize that that was just who I am. But I went and got my degree in social work. I went to that path of going working with abused, abandoned, and neglected boys, and that was
Mm,
really heavy, but it
yeah.
reminded me how important love is.
Yes.
Really being able to just know that these boys didn't have that love, in their home. And I, as a nurturer, I felt like I really exuded that, with these kids. And then, um, I took a pause because I got married and had my kids. But through that time, I I was able to just nurture my soul by taking all sorts of courses. I got mentors to learn how to trust my intuition, um, really tuning into spirit and allowing myself to just know that I can connect to the other side.
Yes.
Now, but it was still a little scary for me. I just have to say, and I'll have to admit, because there were a lot of some things from my own, I guess, cultural background and religious background that I really had to just kind of let go of. And it took some time. But last year was an interesting year where I kind of took a hiatus on my work because I had a health scare.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I had a health scare, and it was one where I don't want to go into a lot of detail, but I had to go to ER. There were some digestive issues that happened. I had to have a colonoscopy. I mean, just the whole thing. I had to go through specialists, but then I got pneumonia, and it's like, okay, spirit, what's happening? And what came out of that, especially after the pneumonia, I asked Spirit, I said, please, what is the message that I need to know? What is what is really at the forefront? Because I was really trying to take care of my body last year. Um, what I got was remember who you are. And that was like it was like a my whole body just went, there, it was almost like a boom, there was a aha moment. And um, so through my healing, what happened was my body is I needed to understand my physical body more, listen to my body more, and to know and be in tune with what my body needed as far as nurturing with foods, nurturing my mind, nurturing my spirit. So, people say we're mind, body, spirit. I say we're spirit, body, mind.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah. And that saying always comes to the forefront of my mind. We are not human beings having a human experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so that what happened to me last year got me on the trajectory of, okay, now I'm understanding what my body needs and the foods that I need and what my body needs as far as um, the thought, the beliefs, even more, because, uh, as another part to that, I ended up getting a degree in psychology, and I did work with therapy clients. So that really helped me to just understand my mind in a
Right.
lot of ways. And so what happened was, because I had been taking so many mediumship courses, intuitive courses, um, channeling, all that, remember who you are just kept on coming up. And so
Mm.
last year I did more channeling and, automatic writing. And there's a big part of who I am that really wants to share the message to others to know that we can get bogged down with things that have happened to us in our life.
Mhm.
But if we can understand that rather than the hamster on the wheel, oh, this happened to me, or, like the victim mode, that
Right.
when we can stand back and say, what can I learn from this? What is it that I need to understand and acknowledge my feelings and listening to my body and my intuition to help me make a shift in my life so I don't need to feel this way. And that's been a huge part of what's been important for me to teach women, especially, to learn that they have choice, and that they can learn to understand that their beliefs are there inherently, could be from, well, actually is, but things that have happened in the past, we can change that. We can shift and change that with knowing that spirit is with us, our intuition and our energy, to change that trajectory of their life can happen, to really manifest all they wish and want in their life. And that's really been my mission moving into 2025 now. And so I'm just really, the time is now, because I've been getting this nudge for a long time, but I've been like, as I remember who I am, it's like, okay, I am here as a light leader and light worker to help others learn that they can move through and beyond, to ascend old thoughts that no longer serve them, so that they can live in this world with more authenticity, with integrity, with more peace, freedom, and joy. And that's what I wish for everybody, that when you wake up in the morning, it's like, I'm alive. Oh my gosh, how can I contribute to the world today?
Right.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
beautiful message. And when you were talking about beliefs, I made me remember that I was listening to a David Bear podcast episode earlier today. And that's one of the things that he talked about. He said a belief is literally a choice.
Mhm.
And I think we forget that sometimes. I think that we allow ourselves to have those beliefs so ingrained in us that we don't even think about the fact that we could change them. It's like, for an example, I was thinking, when I was younger, I didn't like blue cheese, and my mom loved it. And she just thought it was crazy that I didn't like it. She said, "Oh, you just don't know what's good." And I would be like, "Oh, mom, I do. And that's gross. I would never eat that. It even doesn't smell good." You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
now I love blue cheese,
Mm.
and I know that my mom, because both my parents have crossed over, and I know my mom just gets such a kick out of the fact that I love blue cheese now. But it was a belief that I had about it. And then I allowed myself to embrace the idea of it, and then ended up, I love it now. So
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
shift whatever belief you have at any time. And I think that's a really super important message for people to hear.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And what I love about one of the things that I do is hypnotherapy. And a lot of people they have this fear about hypnotherapy where, oh my God, you're gonna make me quack like a duck or, dance like a ballerina. That's stage hypnotherapy. I mean,
Right.
that there is a time and place for that for stage hypnotherapy, but I found that when you can be in a very relaxed state and don't have that monkey mind, you're able to access your subconscious mind
Mm-hmm.
to tune into those old beliefs that are getting in the way. So, and a lot of times it's been an aha moment for me where I um I come out of my session because I have to do my own work in order to be a hypnotherapist. I come out of there going, "Oh my gosh, no wonder that's what happened." And but you're with hypnotherapy, you're able to just allow your whole body, your mind and spirit to be relaxed to access the I call it the door to your higher mind, or being able to access your inner wisdom, or connecting with spirit. I mean, there's all different ways that people can use the term, but it's energy.
It is. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. I actually just had a QHHT regression session in in the fall, in the end of November, and I was amazed at the things that came forward. And because she recorded it, I don't know if you record your sessions with your clients, but she recorded it, and I got to go back and listen to it. Of course, I had forgotten most of what I had said during the session. And
Right.
so going back and listening to it, I was absolutely amazed. So I love that you do that and offer that as a service to your clients so that they can access that higher self version, so that they can get these real answers that, I mean, it's incredible how it helps heal you.
Yeah, yeah, it really, really is so helpful to get to the root.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I like to look at it as when we are these beautiful souls at this time in our lives, our light leaders, light workers, healers, teachers, all of us are here to bring more light into the world. And there when we can look at what is that? Why am I having that block? What is happening there? And it's maybe happening more often than not. It's not a problem or an issue. I want to just say that and put that out there. We've I totally understand and get that we come from many past lives.
Yes.
And we've come back here at this life to expand our soul, and in order to do that, we've come back because there have been other layers of growth that we've come from to be here right now, to be in a very, um, I don't know if the word is another level of being able to bring your light into the world, I guess you would say. And when you can look at, okay, let's look at what this energy block is, so that I can allow that to be released and be more of a stronger, courageous soul self.
Yeah.
I don't know if that does that make sense?
It makes sense to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I feel like it will make sense to other people as well. What I would like to go back to is the term that you used, block. So
Mm,
I remember one time when I first got into really pursuing my spiritual path, I had a mentor up in North Carolina, and I called him one day and I was like, "Dave, I have this block." And he's like, "Dee, you don't have a block." And I'm like, "Oh, but I do. I have a block." And he goes, "No, there's no such thing as a block. The only reason you have a block is because you feel you have a block." So, how do you look at that? And would you expand on that, please?
mm. Excuse me. I got to make sure I have my water. Um, okay. So I love that. That's a really, really great question. It's our perception.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a perception that, and again, it's an energetic perception maybe that one has about themselves. And so when we're able to know that it's a perception that we're having about ourselves that's maybe not allowing us to move forward, it's a way to look at how can I release that thought or that belief so that there's more energy, more clarity in within ourselves and within our energetic system. So that's what, yeah, it is. The really a block is our own self, the way that we perceive ourselves, and allowing ourselves to have be in that curiosity, being in that curiosity to know that we can shift to open up our perception. And I love this picture. I always love this picture. It's
Yeah.
how can we have and create a higher version of ourselves so that we can feel more open, we can
Yeah.
feel more, I mean, all those things, courageous, and let go of any perception, any beliefs or thoughts that are getting in the way of us being our higher, authentic self.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a beautiful explanation. You did a great job. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. I
Well,
know
I
people are
had
going
to,
to love that.
I had to drink my water to, okay, let's see. How can I answer that question?
Well, and the interesting thing about water is it does hold information. And
Hmm.
a lot of people don't realize that. And I feel like I knew it, but when I had my regression, it was brought even more forward how much information is contained in water. So I think it's really fascinating that you drink and were able to access that information in that way.
Yeah, water, we are 70% water. I think that's the last I heard, 70%. And so I love going, referring to Dr. Emoto.
Yes.
Uh, yes, the hidden messages in water. Knowing that we are 70% water, the vibration, and I love how he actually showed, physical evidence of how when we can emanate love or courage, um, and really tune into that, that's what's going to exude out of our energy, our body, and he showed that with taking pictures of the crystals as he froze them, what after blessing, say, a glass of water with love and putting the word love on there, or having a word anger, and just letting just that word be on the glass or the bottle, taking a picture of it and showing how love had this beautiful, almost like mandala looking image, and how anger had like everything was like all over the place, scattered. It's so important to know that we are made, everything around us is made of energy, but knowing that when we're made of 70% energy, how are we going to choose to our energy to live in the way that brings us that love and peace and freedom and joy, and alignment, knowing that we have choice. I love that you
Yes.
had said that. We have choice. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
and it affects more than what people realize. It affects, like you said, the water you drink. And so if it affects the water you drink and your spouse or your child or your friend is standing next to you or your coworker and you're exuding that angry, energy, it's going to affect their being as well. Just like it did the frozen crystals in the water when the word anger was put on there. Likewise with love, it had that softer, more flowery, ethereal kind of visual to it when it
Yes.
was frozen. It's going to do the same thing to us. So I love the putting out that energy. I feel like we're in a really, really crucial time on our planet, and that more and more people are realizing this and putting that love out there, which I think it's amazing because it is what's going to diffuse the stuff that's outside of that, you know.
And no matter what's happening in the world, right? No matter what's happening in the world, when we can allow ourselves to be in that space in our inner world, and you and I know Jill, that's how we got connected.
Yes.
I love that Jill says our universe.
Yes.
When we can be in touch with our little universe, taking care of ourselves in the way that really feels good to us on a very soul level, we can affect others around us
Mhm.
because we're exuding that energy and that love. And I love this little thing that I always have sitting at my desk.
Oh, yes. Be the light. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And do you know, I love that my these B is my initials.
It is. That's awesome. So you literally are the light.
I know. I one day I just pl was playing with the initials. I'm going, oh my God, that's who I really am being. And I want to say we have our moments, right, Dee?
Sure.
We
We're
have
human
our
after
moments.
all.
Yes, we are human, but when we can be light about that and say, oops, let me take a breath and just come
Yeah.
back. Really, who am I? I got to remember who I am. And I just tune into my light and breathe in the light and allow that energy to, um, I don't know, just be a part of my field. And it just feels so much better. So,
Yeah.
so much better. So, and it's learning that we have choice to be able to do that. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
it's written everywhere. I mean, it's so many times in the Bible, it's so many times in all of these other ancient texts about that we are spirit in a human body, and we have these all of these abilities that we don't allow ourselves to believe that we have. It's when you think about the true nature of what we actually are, it's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So I love that you're doing your part and on this planet to help people open up to that more and more and choose that to be the light themselves.
Yeah. 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 And really what happened last year really helped me to pivot and say enough is enough,
Yeah.
and that this is I got the nudge. Remember who you are. Okay. And
Yeah.
now it's time to share my gifts in a way that feels authentic, that feels aligned, that feels very spiritually, I don't know, juicy, I guess is the word.
I feel
That's the
that
word.
from the posts that you make. So I know, I hope people will go and follow you on your platforms because I feel that in your posts. So I know that even if they don't do anything else, but they read what you put on your
Mm.
social media platforms, I don't know how they won't be changed by that because it's very powerful. I feel it from you, which is why I was so
Oh.
excited when you contacted me. I was like, yes, it's time. It's time now to do
Mm.
this recording so that we can get this message out there.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You know, I love doing my posts and sharing who I am. I mean, that's the most important thing because uh having them more authentic and juicy like that just lets others know that this is me.
Yeah.
This is Bessie. And I there's this, can I share like a couple of my programs that I'm doing
Yes,
that
I would love for
yeah,
you to.
yeah, yeah. So what came out of this whole thing was the art of spiritual living, but also the art of spiritual weight loss. They're two different things, but I'll focus on right now the art of spiritual weight loss. What was important really for me to understand, and I've been on, I'm not really a big person per se, really, but I had been on so many different diets all my life. But what really came down to it, and I've actually done weight loss, programs for other women as well. What I found truly was that it's about intuitively remembering who I am, to intuitively choose the foods that serve me, and to let go of the foods that did not serve me. So, as a little background, my father was a chef in the Navy, and he cooked. He came home with first, and he worked at a restaurant afterwards. But I remember all of his sweet foods that he cooked or made, baked. Um, oh my God, bread pudding, apple pies, donuts. I mean, all those things. And and he cooked beautiful, yummy food for the family. That was his love language.
Yeah.
That's how he showed love for the family. But our relationship wasn't really the best. I mean, he wasn't, a very nurturing father in the way that I needed from my perception. And what I realized growing up was there was this lack of love that I felt about myself.
Yeah.
There was this, like, I'm not worthy, I don't feel good about myself, all those things. And I would look to food for comfort, especially sugary foods.
Yeah.
And so that was my comfort. It was my comfort. And in seeing all the little breadcrumbs that have happened through the years, when I would not feel good about myself, or I would doubt myself, or really, can I do this? Or I would worry, I would go to sugary carb foods for my comfort.
Right.
And now what I've realized is as I've learned to meditate and take care of myself, I am aware when I call them niggly wiggly. I'm aware when those niggly wiggly thoughts come, and rather than going to food, I come back to remembering who I am, taking a breath, choosing not food, but nurturing thoughts to take care of myself. Maybe it's let's go for a walk or let's do something to ground yourself. That's been a really important piece. The other thing is if we are made of energy and food is made of energy, eating foods that nurture, that resonate with me, that help me make my body strong, healthy is really important.
Yes.
So choosing foods has been a huge part of shifting. I've gone vegan, which is like, what? Spirit has told me, and this is just Bessie speaking,
Right.
Spirit has told me, in order to be a clear vessel, it's important to eat foods that are live foods that are healthy, and really letting go of those addictive sugary foods. So that's what the art of spiritual weight loss is learning how to be able to let go of anything that has happened in the past that's triggering you to eat foods that don't serve you.
Yeah.
And that's an important piece because we need fuel for our body to live this life. Choose foods that are aligned with you intuitively, that and I had to really learn what foods do or don't, because some say, and it's not about a diet per se.
No, it's not a diet at all.
No, it's not a diet. It's really spiritually tuning into your intuition, looking at foods that are healthy for you, that make sense, and not potato chips, all the time.
Right.
But eating, balanced food and nurturing our mind with with knowing that when we're eating foods that nurture us and we're nurturing our mind and at the same time, it's taking care of our spirit, mind, and body all together. And that's what I loved about the the art of spiritual weight loss. And there's actually three keys to it because art is actually a an acronym. And the A is helping others understand and be aware of their thoughts.
Awareness. Yeah.
Awareness, yeah, yeah. And then the R is releasing those old narratives and tuning into what are the new narratives that you want to be able to embrace, that's truly who you are on a
Yes.
soul level. And then transforming just your life on an intuitive level to choose the foods, having an intuitive lifestyle, choosing the foods that feel aligned to you, when you can really listen to your body, and really transforming that, taking that as a lifestyle change. So that's what the three keys are: awareness, release, and transform. Three keys
I
to
love
be able
that
to,
you
yeah.
said tune in. I don't know if you realize that's a T also. So you have the
Mm-hmm.
tune in and transformation, which I love that. I think it's so good. And
Yeah.
I would love to say when I'm listening to you speak about that with the sugary foods, and that's how your dad showed love. Like you said, that was his love language. So that's how you were showing yourself love, was by eating those sweet foods.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you learned that you can tune in and you can love yourself in a different way, but it's still loving yourself.
Yes.
And I would also like to point out that when you do this kind of work and you're at this spiritual level and your frequency is raised, because you automatically start shifting these things without even thinking about it a lot of times, and you don't feel deprived. I think
Right.
that's a really important thing for people to know because some people are like, oh, I could never give that up. But when you are so tuned in and you allow yourself to release those old ways of loving yourself and learn a new way to love yourself, you do not miss the stuff from before.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know, it doesn't
exactly.
seem like a sacrifice because you love it doesn't mean you'll never have a piece of cheesecake again. Let's
Right.
face it,
Yeah,
but you're
exactly.
not going to be
Yeah.
eating it as often
Right.
and it feels different when you do eat it. That's what I find,
Right.
you know, because I've let go of a lot of that kind of stuff too. I'm not going to say I never eat it, but you know, the quantity of what I eat now compared to what I used to eat and the frequency is completely different and I don't miss it.
Yeah. And I I think it started June of last year. I had chocolates in our pantry, and every day my husband and I would go and have chocolate. And when I made the decision to just I wanted to just for 90 days just nothing. I had the chocolates in my pantry and I didn't even touch them.
That's
I
awesome.
didn't even, yeah, I didn't touch them. But like you said, it's not like I'm totally releasing it, but I know when, oh, I'd like to be able to have a little sweet right now. And, I'm very mindful of it. But I do notice when I do eat it, I feel a little funky. So, so it's a matter of um, being able to just know that just a little bit is good. And that'll just, and it's not about perfection. It's about really seeing how I've been able to progress to be at this point to know that I'm eating mindfully versus eating mindlessly
Yes,
because I want to nurture my body. Um, and, you know, I'm 72. I just feel like
amazing.
I want you know, however long I'm going to live, I want to be the best version of myself in spirit, mind, and body, and be that light to let others know that they can have the life they really want to be able to live with more courage, joy, and freedom when they trust themselves
Yeah.
and when they know that they can make that choice and that they can do it. When
Yes.
they can believe in themselves. Yeah. Because I just am so excited that I was able to be at the space to remember who I am, to do more of what I'm doing now. And because the time is now, the more light that we can really shine from ourselves to give to others expands that light more and more and more because we're exuding that, sharing our I call it medicine, sharing our medicine with others. And when their light shines brighter, it's just going to amplify in the world and the universe. And we need more light in the world, so that yeah, what can I say? We need more light in the world.
Yes, more light. And so more cowbell, more light.
Yes.
One of the words that you said earlier when we first got started is one of my favorite words, and I would like to revisit that word, and that's curiosity, because I
Mm.
feel like that is what propels us to start investigating these little things or big things that we've been talking about here. So, would you like to expand on curiosity and how that can propel you to a whole different you?
Yeah, I when we can get stuck in our little box of like, oh no, I don't know that really can we do that? Then we're going to be stuck in that box.
Yeah.
But when and this I would say curiosity and trust. when I began to channel more, um, and knowing that I am very, clairaudient. I can hear. I'm very clairvoyant, and I could see, and then and claircognizant. There's just this knowing. Um, I began to m- really meditate more
Mhm.
and not sit with, am I doing it right? I would just be, and I would allow myself to be in the place where I was so relaxed that when I did that, there was this, okay, I'm just gonna kind of like be in the moment and let it go.
Yeah.
That's what curiosity is.
Yes.
Just be in the moment and let it go. And going and doing that, still like the niggly wigglies would come, but I'd say, not right now. Just yeah. And I was able to more and more trust those nudges that came through, that that spirit was really nudging me on. And when I did that, I wanted more. I wanted to be open to the curiosity even more.
You're like, this is fun.
I know. Yes, exactly. And so yeah, and as time has gone on, that the curiosity now is landing more of the open and expansiveness. And when rather than sitting in that box of, I don't know if I should can do it, I don't know if really I'm intuitive, I don't know if I can do anything, reaching a goal. It's moving out of that box to expand in a way that you are just letting go and trusting the process. And being curious to the insights that could happen, or nudges. And it doesn't necessarily have to be when you're sitting in meditation or your automatic writing or your channeling. It could be, you are, I like to call it, when you are really sitting in this curiosity, and expanding your energy and your light. There is something very subtle about that. You're strengthening um your soul. It's like you're strengthening that muscle, I guess you would say. And when you're doing that, then you could be out in the garden, or um with your grandchildren, with your partner, and all of a sudden an insight comes up, and there you have it. Oh, that's the aha moment that has come through. And it's because you're open and expansive and curious to the energy of tuning in to your spirit self, and your to spirit and any nudges. And when we walk this human life, knowing that we're not in this box, that we're expansive,
Yeah.
you're aligning your life more with that spiritual part of who you are and the human part of who you are. And there's just this kind of path that you can walk on that feels just, I don't know, what's the word? Just feels good.
Yeah.
Safe. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. And I love the word expansive. And we are so much more expansive than we give ourselves to believe that we are. And curiosity can take us places. We can, that's how we expand, is to just allow ourselves to go, is that really the edge, or can I go a little further?
Right.
you know?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And when you are in that curiosity to say, "Oh, I can go a little further." And this feels really good in my body. Because you have that just that alignment, that feeling that is a joyful feeling. I the other day I just had this download. Ooh, today is going to be filled with joy and wonder. And it was so fun because well, I knew that my grandkids were coming over, but I going, okay, let's just align that here right now. So I started vacuuming and you know, vacuuming can be like, oh, but I was like, oh, let me just clean here and there. Oh, and then I was reminiscing about how New Year's was just so fun, and we made this mess in our house. But it was just really joyful to clean the house and be in that energy.
Yeah,
I was doing a few other things that just really felt joyful, and uh, it's so important when you wake up the first thing in the morning to tune in.
yeah,
What are you focusing on?
yes.
And it starts your day off when you can be aware of how you're planting the seed for your day.
It makes a big
Doing it.
difference. And it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, whichever way you decide to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
That's the interesting thing about it for sure.
Yes, yes, yes. So I don't know, do you have any questions for me or?
Well, I would love to go back to your programs. And since this episode is going to drop really quickly after we record it, I would love for you to tell people a little bit more about dates and how they can find you so that they can go and take part of those so that they can learn how to do this for themselves if they don't
Yeah.
already know how.
Yes, yes. So my the both of my programs, the Art of Spiritual Weight Loss and the Art of Spiritual Living, are both one-to-one programs. I um, there's something about the one-to-one work where there's accountability when you're just starting out. And so I talked about the Art of Spiritual Weight Loss. The Art of Spiritual Living is tuning into your spiritual life. And what I love about that program is that it's being a hypnotherapist and a coach. If you're experiencing, maybe it's not weight loss, but maybe it's a fear that you have. Maybe it's, you're intuitive, but you really want to align your life more in a spiritual way, knowing that you feel like you're getting bogged down with maybe old stories and narratives that you're just like, I just really need to get let that go. Um, it could be it could be trauma that you've experienced, addictions, fears, habits. That's the spiritual living piece. Because really what's happening is that those are some root causes that are like you are being nudged to just want to really tune into so that you could release it, so you can feel more of who you are on a soul level, if that makes sense.
It makes
And
sense.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, because really those are distractions.
right.
Those are distractions that are helping you somehow feel better, but not feel better in a lot of ways. And it's learning how to be able to address how can you take care of yourself in a way that's nurturing your spirit, mind, and body. And that's what the art of spiritual living is. The
Yeah,
art of spiritual weight loss is specifically if you're really wanting to be able to release the weight that is, and we go, deeper into that, to tune into. old stories and old habits, old traumas that are getting in the way, but also looking at how you can trust your intuition there, but also learning to intuitively look at the foods that you're eating and foods that you shouldn't be eating that you want to be able to help because everything is energy.
Yes.
Learning how to be able to release that energy from your body by nurturing it in a very practical, it's a very intuitive and practical way of releasing and losing weight. And I those are the two that are really resonating with me to be able to share my three keys, the ART, because they all work together in both programs. Yeah.
Yeah. How they
And
would.
yeah, yeah. And if uh, on my website, because you'll be sharing my website, is that correct? Yeah. On my website, there is actually a chakra quiz if they'd like to be able to connect with me. Uh, I love working with the chakras and the energies of the chakras because that's how we can learn how to be able to understand the stories that are held in our body. But you can take the chakra quiz, and that's free. And then you can actually have a session with me where I can talk a little bit about how you can maybe enhance or strengthen that chakra, but I can also do an intuitive energy scan. So just a little session maybe to get to know me. But if you want to jump in and to learn more about the art of spiritual weight loss or the art of spiritual living, it's the information is on my website, and we can schedule a time to do a discovery call, an alignment call to see if it's something that resonates with you. And we can take it from there. So, yeah,
Sounds amazing. So when you
yeah.
were talking about the art of uh what did you say? The art of
Spiritual living.
spiritual.
Hmm.
Yes. I heard the phrase, stop the roller coaster, I want to get off. So I don't know if that's a
Hmm.
phrase that somebody who's listening right now is
Mm.
having go through their mind, where they just feel like they're on this constant, like cycle of just, and they, can't get off the hamster wheel, so to speak. Just stop the roller coaster, I want to get off. That's a phrase that I heard. So,
Mm,
because I
mm,
feel like the way you were describing your program will help whoever needed to hear what I just said. Um, Stop the roller coaster so they can get off and
mm.
start a different path.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that, Dee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
do,
awesome.
do you have any last bits of wisdom you'd like to share with us today?
Hmm. I truly believe that we are here to learn and grow and to expand ourself, to live in more joy, curiosity, wonder, love. And if you're listening to this and you're feeling some nudge that it's time to get off the roller coaster, listen to your intuition, listen to your nudge, and rather than just kind of discount it.
Yeah.
And to really know that you have the ability and choice to change the trajectory of your life.
Yes.
And it's take that time to take care of yourself, to um, learn more about yourself, to be able to be in that place of rather than the roller coaster, an aligned rhythm to your life that feels smoother. Even when the bumps happen, you can still go, okay, I can still go and be good and feel good, and know that you can and believe that you can.
Yes. And trust
Yeah.
your intuition and go
Yes.
ahead and take this step to treat yourself to something that you deserve that maybe you've been putting off for a while. So
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Bessie, for joining me today and sharing this beautiful message. I feel like it's exactly what somebody needs to hear out there. I know I've enjoyed it immensely myself. Just this conversation has been incredible. So thank you
Mm,
for that. And I'll put all your information in the description box below the video so people can find you with a click.
awesome. 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 Thank you so much, Dee.
Yes, you're very welcome. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today for this beautiful conversation. I hope that you will get in contact with Bessie because I know you'll have a beautiful time and an amazing transformation. So thank you all. And I appreciate you and I love you. And I will see you on the next one.